All right, peace to the family. We should be live right now. Let me see what's going on. We should be live right now, family. I'm back, top of the year, January 1st. I had this sister on the show before. I don't know if y'all remember this sister. It was a great show. Want to allow the sister to introduce herself again for those who may not have seen the show. So, Aquarius Maximus, could you please introduce yourself? Let the people know what you're about before we get started.
Hi, everyone. My name is Aquarius Maximus, aka Savannah Evans, kind of known on both circuits.
Mm-hmm.
I am a master cardologer, astrologer, data scientist, and the founder of Guap Coin, a cryptocurrency that I created for the culture. I've been I've been in technology for over 25 years, so basically about 25 years. And I've been in cardology for the better part of the last decade, and in astrology, a large portion of my life.
Mm-hmm. So, what exactly, when you say cardology, what does that mean? So people might automatically think of the tarot deck. So, does that have
Right.
anything to do with the tarot cards?
Um, kind of. What cardology is the study of the it's the study of the playing cards, the 52 cards in the deck. Most people look at a deck of playing cards and they think that it's a deck of playing cards, when in actuality, the deck of playing cards is a coded calendar. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and this calendar deals with the karmic circumstances that are associated with every day. It stems back to the Egyptian calendar of good and bad days. And it actually is supposed to extend even further back. Some say it comes from Atlantis and etc. But it is one of the most accurate tools that I've ever known. And the rabbit hole gets deeper and deeper when examining the cards. When you look at the cards, you have 52 cards, which represents the 52 weeks in a year. You have 13 court cards, which represents the 13 lunar months in a lunar calendar. And you have the four pips or the four suits, which represent the four seasons of the year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so interesting. So with the cards, what would you say is like what makes it so accurate? Is it the fact that it's in alignment, like what you said, the 52 and the 52, or like what makes it so accurate?
Well, what makes it so accurate and precise is because it gives you a karmic map of any specific a time period. So we can look at a yearly spread, and we can see a karmic map of a particular year. And because the cards coincide with particular days, you can pinpoint what days are going to be highlighted, what are the most important days of the year, what energy they're going to be dealing with, and what karmic circumstances are associated with those cards. So you can pretty much dictate any year, even on a high level. You don't even have to get in depth into the year. On a high level, you can look at a spread and say, oh wow, this is what the theme of this year is going to be, and these are the days that I need to watch out for. And it's incredibly simple to learn because you're only dealing with 52 cards.
Right, right.
Really what is going on is these 52 cards have encoded thousands and thousands of numerical combinations that have been reduced down to just 52. You know what I mean? So if you think about it, it's similar to gematria. And
Mm-hmm.
gematria, you literally have to get a calculator to do it because you're dealing with all of these numerical combinations. Well, what the cards have done is encapsulize specific sets of karmas in one card. So you only have 52 cards, and the overall energy that you need to learn with this card, along with associated karma. So something that people can learn off the top of their head. A lot of times when I go places, I don't have a deck of cards and I don't have software. I just do the readings off the top of my head, knowing people's birthdays or knowing their names, knowing the cards that are associated. And if I don't know any of those above, all I need to know is the card of the day.
Indeed. Before we get started any further, I want to give a shout out to King Simon. I'm using this StreamYard family. I usually use Zoom, and for some reason it's not letting me. I wanted to share because this sister gave me she did a life report for me. I want to share that as well, but my computer, because I'm using Chrome now and I'm used to using Apple for some reason, but I'll get it fixed by next show. Anyway, I want to give a shout out to King Simon. The brother always advertises with me. The best when it comes to numerology. You know what's funny? A lot of the things you said in your life, the what's it called? The life report you gave me totally aligned with what King Simon told me about me with numerology. So it's like the sciences are in alignment with each other. It's amazing. But family, give that brother a call. That's another brother that's amazing. You can text him 347-496-1022. But that brother's the best for numerology. But yeah, I just think that's absolutely amazing. The fact that you're studying something different from what he's doing, but both of y'all saying the same thing. That's how I know like this is some true science that we used to tap into back in the day, sis.
Absolutely. I mean, this tool is incredible. It's an incredible tool for self-discovery, for being able to overcome obstacles, and for being able to maintain peace of mind.
From your point of view, and what you study, what do you think about the alignment that just happened? Everybody in the spiritual community is talking about it. The Jupiter Saturn conjunction.
Powerful.
Powerful. Elaborate. Please elaborate, sis.
Well, most people are not aware of the last time that Saturn and Jupiter came into conjunction in Aquarius was in 1405. That's literally hundreds of years ago. So we're going into a new epic era. You know what I mean? And a lot of people like to associate it with Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, etc., because it's happening in Aquarius. And there's dispute on that. However, if you're talking about that, this is setting a cycle that's going to last like 600 to 700 years. It may as well be an age of Aquarius. Right, you know what I mean? It may as well. So what I do when I'm looking at these conjunctions, I look at what day they come into an exact conjunction. So the last time it came into an exact conjunction, I believe was like a 7 of spades day. And that was a horrible card. So that energy brought about a lot of the negativity we've experienced over the last hundreds of years. You're talking about slavery. You're talking about wars. You're talking about the dark ages. You're talking about illness, disease, poverty. Everything occurred during that time. It actually was not a good era. If you are looking at all of the eras, and you were breaking them down, you would look at that era and say, wow, this was going to be a challenging era. So now this next conjunction took place on a 10 of hearts day, which is a very blessed card, extremely blessed energy. So we're going into a good period. The problem is we're still so traumatized from the last period. Many of us are going to bring the old into the new. So we don't even realize that things are actually getting better. That's the nature of trauma. If you're traumatized and you got PTSD, you're still bringing all of those negative circumstances, even though you may have moved on to a better situation. So that's what we're going into now. We're actually moving into a better situation and a better era, but it's the beginning. So you're still bringing the chaotic forces from the last era into this new era.
So let's get into 2021. What are some, being that this is the first of the year, give me some spiritual predictions. What are you anticipating this year in terms of family life, current, financials in the system, just anything? What do you see happening this year?
Well, this is a 5-year. It's a 5 of hearts year, but we're residing in a 4 decade. We're in a 4 hearts decade and a 5 of hearts year. Right. So what the 5 of hearts is about seeking. It's about massive changes that happen pretty quick. So what you're going to have is a lot of changes in relationships. You're going to have people who have been dissatisfied in the relationships that they've been in for a long time, finally leave those relationships behind and go to seek new relationships. You're going to have people wanting their freedom. Right. which coincides with the Jupiter Uranus transits that are taking place in January, and the Uranus squares, etc., that are going to be taking place. It's like people want freedom. People are going to want freedom. That's what the Five of Hearts is about. The Five of Hearts is also about that is the gypsy, the nomad. So I predicted for the last 2 years that there are going to be mass migrations. So that's what we're going to see. We're going to see mass migrations away from cities into more rural areas. And the reason why they'll be going into rural areas is because we're in a Four Hearts decade, and Four Hearts deals with farms, deals with land, deals with that type of environment. So you're going to have people migrating from the cities, which we already started seeing last year. And that was going to happen regardless. People don't understand the energy dictates the movement. It doesn't matter if it's COVID or anything. It would have been something else to make people move and leave those areas. So you have that. The Five of Hearts also deals with a need for healing, right? Because it has a Nine of Hearts in Mars. So this is the time that a lot of men are going to seek healing and mental health help, etc. You've had during the last probably couple of years a big renaissance in women's healing, in women's mental health and life coaching. Well, now you're going to have men that are going to get into coaching and get into working on their mental health because of that placement. But the Five of Hearts is also the card of gaming, right? So with the Five of Hearts, everything is a game. Life is a game. So literally, this begins what I called the other day in the meeting I had, the Hunger Games. They start now. And I know that sounds like ominous, but that was like the only way I can describe it. This is the beginning of the Hunger Games. Now the Five of Hearts also deals with gaming on the level of VR and XR. So we're going to see a tremendous boom in virtual reality and immersive reality technologies, and also autonomous everything, not just autonomous vehicles, autonomous everything. We're going to see a really fast boom in these industries.
It's almost like with 2020, it's almost like two different worlds. And what I mean by that is I see people talking about their year. At the end of last year, they was talking about the year, and the people that said, yo, this was a great year for me, the people who didn't have a great year got very upset, and they was like, yo, this was a horrible year. How dare you say that this was a prosperous year?
Right.
And I just see just like two different worlds. Like I know a lot of brothers that had a magnificent year in terms business wise, in terms of being entrepreneurs. And then there's just people that are like, yo, this is the worst year of my life.
Right. Well, there are two or three things going on. First of all, the best time for money is the time during a time of chaos and destruction and death and pain and all of that. That's why we've been behind for so long, because the 1% or the shadow occult understand that. So they take this time and they make use of it to get richer. They said that there were more billionaires made this year than ever. Right. And that's because they take advantage of these times, because they know that these are the times when money is the best. This is the best time for business, the best time for investing. And that's something that I try to beat into my folks all the time. You got to separate from the emotions of everything that's going on in the distraction and focus on the money, because this is the opportunity to do so. And additionally, this is going to be the decade where it's going to be a lot of death. And this year is definitely going to be a lot of death, because the Five of Hearts is also a death card. So what we're dealing with is the transition of a lot of people out of this dimension into another existence. And this is predetermined. It's not random. It's predetermined, pre-contracted.
That so, like a soul contract, you say?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And a lot of people are angry with what people like Bill Gates say about there's too many people, overpopulation, etc. Well, nature agrees, and it's not just him. I mean, he's enacting the will of his ego, but then there's also nature that kicks in and also says that yes, it's time to reduce some of the population on this planet.
What's your thoughts on death? with all your spiritual research, what are your thoughts? A lot of people fear death, and that's the reason why they're able
Right.
to, control us. What's your thoughts on death?
Well, death is simply nothing but a jump, a quantum leap to another dimensional existence where a piece of you is still existing and a part of you is living out a new life or a new existence. When I use the cards, I often use cardology to read the spreads of quote unquote dead people. Their spreads don't end. So you might have one day you turn on the news and everybody's talking about Michael Jackson. Well, you pull up his spread, it's as if he's still alive and he's going viral at this moment and it's showing up in his cards. So they don't end, they don't cease to exist. They continue existing on multiple levels.
Wow, that's interesting. So you can still read a person's card even though they're gone.
Yeah, whenever I want to know situations like what happened, like if it's a death and I want to know, nobody knows what happened and I want to know what happened, I pull up their spread and I ask them. Or when I want to know how they feel about something, then I pull up their spread to see how they feel about it. Because oftentimes, sometimes we get it twisted. Like we'll get angry and say, well, why are you bringing this person up? Or why are you doing this? And, you pull up your spread and you see what they're attempting to communicate.
Wow, that's interesting. So do you ever are you able to communicate with like if somebody calls you and says, yo, I want you to contact my mother who passed away, or
I do that all the time because I am also a spiritual medium, so I do that all the time.
Wow, I didn't know that you do a lot, sis. I mean, the queen gets down. Oh wow, that's amazing. Before we continue, give people how do people contact you before we continue, because some people don't make it to the end of the show.
Well, my website is aquariusmaximus.com. You can contact me there, or you can contact me on Instagram. I'm under Aquarius Maximus, and I'm also on Facebook as well, and Twitter.
Have you ever did any entheogens or anything like that?
Did any what? I'm sorry?
Entheogens, like mushrooms or?
No.
Okay, so you just naturally, would you say you were born with the gift to communicate with the other ring?
Right. I'm in my natal chart. I have Pisces at 29 degrees on my ascendant. My North Node is conjunct Neptune, and I have Jupiter in Pisces in the 12th house. So I'm like more Piscean than a lot of people out there. I'm like, I got one foot in this world and one foot out.
So tell us about Guap Coin now. You got one foot in, one foot out. What you got going on with Guap? I mean, cryptocurrency. If we look at 2020 and we look at the winner of 2020, Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market, a lot of people won who invest in it. I just did a webinar with a brother a couple of weeks ago. So I'm really just learning about it and getting my foot into the cryptocurrency thing. And I remember you talking about that the last show we did over a year ago. So I wanted to revisit Guap Coin. Please tell me, what is Guap Coin? How is this for the culture? How is this gonna? Well, just explain this to me, please, for everybody who wants to know about cryptocurrency, in particular, your cryptocurrency that you created, Guap Coin. Well,
it's our cryptocurrency that I gave birth to. But back in 2017, it actually started before then. In 2015, I was the founder of a platform called Safe to Meet. And we had a lot of accolades and stuff like that. But I quickly found out how Black founders don't get funded. Black tech founders don't get funded. Fast forward to 2017, when it was the ICO era, where people were actually able to fund projects using cryptocurrency. And one part of me was like, wow, this is an opportunity right here for us to be able to fund our tech and fund our tech projects. But another part of me was like, a deeper part of me was like, this is also an opportunity for us to finally have our own currency. But we're always talking about the Black dollar, but in reality, there is no Black dollar. We're always talking about supporting Black businesses, et cetera. And we've never really successfully heralded a movement to support Black businesses. And the reason being is because we have no currency, we have no money. Now, I'm not going to say we don't have currency, because one currency that Black people have is social currency. That is something that we are extremely wealthy in. And I believe very hopefully that if we could take that social currency and put it into cryptocurrency, then potentially we could create something even larger than Bitcoin. So again, I created Guap Coin in 2017. In 2017, we were an Ethereum token, but we wound up building our own blockchain in 2018. We built an entire ecosystem. We have wallets on every platform, and we have a growing community. And I specifically built Guap Coin the way a decentralized coin is supposed to be done, or currency is supposed to be done. A lot of people have attempted to get in this space, and they're like, oh, I want my own coin, I want my own token. And they already done messed up because they said my own. It's not my own, it's ours. You're building a community instrument, financial instrument that's going to impact and uplift us as a community. And not only is it powerful in terms of the financial aspect, but it's also powerful in terms of the data aspect. Data is also another currency. So I want us to be able to generate, create, and analyze the data that we create so that we can build bigger and better, stronger communities.
Okay. So how does one get in? Is all right, obviously when people get involved with cryptocurrency, they're looking to make money. So people want to buy
Well, I
Bitcoin.
want people to know that crypto is money. We have to re-educate ourselves. It's not about making money. I think that with the last year and the year coming up, it's going to show you that the dollar is in jeopardy. The dollar is going away. So if you keep benchmarking your wealth against the dollar, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble in 2021.
So a person, let's say, how does one go about investing in Guap Coin? What's the process?
Well, the first thing you want to do is get a wallet, you know, because when everybody gets a wallet, what do? They want to fill it with money. So the first thing you do is install a wallet from the Android or iOS store, or download a desktop wallet. The next thing you want to do is to join the community so that the community can help you navigate this new space. That's what we're all here in the community to do. And if you want to get Guap Coin, you can get some from the exchange. We're on an exchange called Probit, probit.com. And you can go on Probit and you can get Guap Coins from there.
So does Guap Coin, like, you know how people go on Coinbase or something, they look at like the Bitcoin price or XRP price?
You can actually see the price of Guap Coin on Coinbase as well. We're not listed there, but we're listed as an asset, which you can check the price of.
So is it like Bitcoin where a person puts money in and when the price goes up, they could take it out if they want because they done made money? Does it work the same way as that? Because that's pretty much people's understanding.
It works the same way, but what you have to realize is the real wealthy are not taking their money out of Bitcoin. They're putting their money in Bitcoin and they're sitting on it.
So you recommend people put their money in and sit on it if they it's in terms of Guap Coin? Or just
in the beginning, yes, while the community grows, but we're building an ecosystem where they'll be able to spend it. We currently have about 100 Black-owned businesses that will accept Guap Coin, and that's going to be growing. And in February, we're launching a MasterCard that will allow you to spend your Guap Coin anywhere. That MasterCard is accepted.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Anything else you want to elaborate on with Guap Coin that you think would, for those who may be a little confused about the whole crypto thing, that may help us understand it better?
Right. Well, I think our biggest confusion is, where does value come from? I don't think that we're confused in terms of crypto in general. We're just confused with, how do you create a currency, and how does it all of a sudden have value? Right. And that's the part of money we don't understand. We don't understand how money really works, and why money is important, and why even having a currency, a digital currency in these times will be important. You know, probably about almost a century ago, our money was supposedly backed by gold, right? And we know that our money is no longer backed by gold. Hasn't been backed by gold in a long time. What is our money backed by? Our money is backed by faith. It's backed by nothing more than pure faith. You believe in it, it has value. You transfer your value to, you build your society on top of this value, you give it more value. And the thing with Black folks in general is we give our value away. We give our value away to different groups, to different people. We're even willing to give our value away to other currencies, other cryptocurrencies, instead of seeing what the potential of this technology can do for us as a people. We rather give our money away to yet another system. I'm not a Bitcoin believer, because the people at the top of Bitcoin are the same people at the top of the dollar.
Mm. Mm. That's deep when you say the money's backed by purely by faith. And you know, the fact that we are trendsetters. I mean, within 1 year, if we really wanted to, we could have Guap Coin popping. We could
Exactly.
have it popping if we wanted to. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And it would be
So,
an incredible feat. And I know because of the astrology that we're undergoing now, it's going to happen.
mhm. Yeah, I definitely want to look more into that. You know, I told you something told me to have you as the first guest of my show for to start out the year, because you know, moving forward, I know it's extremely important that our people understand that the world is changing in terms of finance and wealth. So
Right.
I definitely don't want my people to get left behind. Being that I have such a huge platform, I'm bringing different people on to let our people know the tricks of the trade that they're not being taught in school or at work or in mainstream media. So
Yeah.
when, you know, a queen such as yourself, you got a crypto coin, and I see how you talk about it and how you move. Yeah, I'm definitely willing to support you. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I just need to learn more about it. You know what I'm saying? I need to do my
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, time is of the essence because, again, you know, they're moving at the speed
yeah.
of light.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And they're going to descend the digital dollar on you without you knowing anything. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Before we know it, we're spending digital dollars, a currency that's backed by the US or USD. And
Mm,
we're not going to be learning anything, but we're going to be consumers yet again. We're
mm,
going to be the battery that's feeding the machine. And I
mm.
don't want that to happen again. We need to get our own machine up and running. And that's what this is about. We don't need to be anybody else's batteries anymore. Right now, you spoke about the two different realities. There is a reality building. The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the reality, right?
That's facts. Yeah.
But you have an opportunity to also choose. You have an opportunity to get out of that bottom side reality and create a new reality. This is a creative phase, and we got to get creating. And that also includes creating a currency or creating a community that's centered around a currency.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. Um, so even if we invest in Bitcoin, we're still a battery feeding the system, even with Bitcoin. Now, wow, see, that's I get you're thinking on such a big level. You're thinking on a real big level, not just a quick dollar. You're thinking on a big level, and that's where I could definitely appreciate your thought process. What in terms of do you think it's like a age thing where the youth are going to propel this movement, or do you think age is irrelevant at this point? And because sometimes people may feel like the older people are stuck in their ways and they're not going to make it to this new world where the digital currency rules or where school
I
doesn't exist. Yeah.
actually disagree. My grandmother's 96 years old, and she's the
Mm,
biggest fan of Guap Coin.
excellent.
My
Excellent.
grandmother, I when she sees me, the first question she asks me is, "What's going on with Guap Coin? What's going on?" She fully understands Guap Coin and what it's about. The first person that called me when I launched Guap was an 80-year-old gentleman in Tennessee, and he gave
Oh,
me a half a day lesson on Black Wall Street.
yeah.
Yes, he did.
Okay, give me some game. What do you say? Give me some game. Give me
Well,
some
he
game.
spoke about how money was kept in the community and purposely, how purposely they would keep that dollar in the community, keep that money from flowing outside of the community, and that's key because as you know the statistics now, the money that's in the Black community flows out of the community within hours. So that means that the supply chain does not exist in the Black community. The supply chain is always outside of the Black community. So they always maintain power because the supply chain is not in the Black community. So, I mean, he gave me the whole spiel, but the beautiful thing he ended it with was, hey, I have a business. I'm 80 years old. All I want to do is be able to accept Guap Coin. He didn't know anything about cryptocurrency. He didn't know anything about digital currencies, but what he knew was this was Black money, and that's what he knew.
And that's something them young whippersnappers don't understand.
Right.
That's wisdom right there. He said, you said all he knew was that this was Black money, and he was like, I'm with it. That's excellent. I like that a lot. I like that thought process a lot. So in terms of a lot of people look at cryptocurrency as something esoteric or spiritual. Why do you think people look at it? Why do people keep saying that? I don't explain that.
Because it definitely is. I mean, it's tied back to technology in general. Most people don't understand that binary code was invented in Africa. Binary code was invented by the ancestors. There's binary code on the shields of the Zulus. That's binary code. When the ancient elder, Sangomas, etc., and when they read the bones, they were reading binary code. So binary code, which is zeros and ones, the most base of technology created and came out of Africa. So the base of blockchain is binary. I mean, when you start a blockchain, when you build a blockchain, you start with the Genesis block. You give birth to that first block, and that block propagates and grows and grows and grows. And because I developed the blockchain from the Genesis block, I was able to see how the blockchain mirrored the emotions of the people who were attached to it, and how the blockchain mirrors the values of the creators. So it's very much sentient, very much composed of the energy that you invest in it. It's more than the money, it's the energy that you invest in it. There were times when we had snags in our blockchain that coincided with times that were very emotional amongst our people. When there was things going on with the people out there, then there would be some irregularities that would start happening on the blockchain. I hope later on we could talk about this and we could write about the spiritual properties of it, because I think that's super duper important. But yes, it is a spiritual force. This is a force that was birthed into here, and that is going to create massive change amongst the people.
Why did you name it Guap Coin?
Well, I'm from New York, of course. But I wanted to name it something that people would recognize as money. That I want them to know that this is money, and I want them to feel powerful and proud about it. There's a powerful and proud feeling when you say, I got guap, or give me guap. This is guap. I wanted people to feel powerful, because that's a large part of it. A part of building a blockchain or a currency, a cryptocurrency or a currency, is your values and how you feel about it. That's where the values come from. That's where the faith comes from. That's where the adoption comes from. And I realized that dealing with our folks, we had a challenge on our hands because of the damage that we've suffered to our values in this country. So this is a grand experiment of rebuilding our values and rebuilding ourselves and rebuilding our self-worth that's reflected in a currency.
Do you feel extra pressure being a Black woman who created cryptocurrency? Do you feel as though, it's extra hard being a Black woman that created a cryptocurrency?
I feel like it is extra hard, but I also learned that this is something that needs to take time. This is not something that can possibly happen overnight. You know what I mean? It needs to take time. It needs to penetrate. So for it to take time, that means I would have to go, jump over a lot of obstacles and work through a lot of problems and build a lot of patience and endurance. So, the challenges that I faced were important in terms of building the strength of this project. So I know it was necessary. And I accept it as that. I just accept it as necessary. It was more challenging amongst my people than it was in the outside world. In the outside world, I've built a pretty big reputation as a crypto expert. I'm an expert in this. I've spoken all over the world. I've been awarded. I've been, you know, Glamour magazine featured me as one of the 9 women changing the face of money in crypto. I've gotten everything I need outside of the thing. But when it comes to the culture, we have culture guards within our community that don't want us to grow, that don't want this for us. So this is a reality that I had to face, that my biggest obstacles and my biggest contenders were going to be those that look like me.
So we got culture guards in our community. That's real. It's unfortunate, but it's real. I've seen it happen. So, wow, that's yeah, I like you talking your shit. You said I'm an expert at this. I like that, man. That's dope, man.
I mean, but when you go back to Harriet Tubman, there were culture guards on the plantation too. It's just a part of the psyche and a part of the process. And people call me the financial Harriet Tubman. So the Harriet Tubman of the financial world. So when I heard that, I knew what I was going to be dealing with, and I knew what she was dealing with. Definitely having to change the psyche of people to let them know that, hey, the opportunity for freedom is here, and we got to take it while we can get it.
What, for somebody who wants to learn about blockchain or cryptocurrency, is there any beginner videos out there that's like you would recommend, or articles or anything like off the top of your head you could think of that you would just point somebody to?
Well, one good book for us is a book by Isaiah. We call him Bitcoin Zay on Twitter. He has Blacks in Bitcoin and Blacks in America. I forget the exact title, but you look up Bitcoin Zay on Twitter. He has a book that's marketed.
Bitcoin Zay?
Yes. On Twitter. Yes. That's Isaiah. I forget his last name, Lord. But he's written a book about cryptocurrency. There are others that have written about cryptocurrency. Your best bet is to follow the current news articles on websites like CoinDesk and Cointelegraph, and follow the news, because unless you're creating a blockchain yourself, or you want to get into the technology aspect, there's not a real need to try to delve deeply into that. That's not going to help you figure this out. What's going to help you figure this out is when you start spending this money. When you get a card and you start realizing that you can spend this and that it can grow and you can spend it, and that it may actually one day be worth more than $1, then you'll get it. Then a click will go off in your head. You know what I mean? Now, if you want to be in blockchain, you actually want to start building, then there's plenty of places to learn the technology. They have classes now. They have certifications out there now. They have plenty of YouTube videos on different things to do with cryptocurrency. Myself, you probably don't want to walk the path that I walk, because I'm an actual engineer, and that was a little bit more difficult than thing. But I say get into tech, play around. You know what I mean? There's a lot of sandboxes out there that just allow you to play with, technology. You won't break anything. Just, sign up, get involved with one of these projects, and just start playing around with the technology.
What do you think, being that our culture and our community is so heavily influenced by celebrities, has any celebrity reached out to you and tried to support or help you? And maybe
absolutely. I'm currently talking to some celebrities now. I don't think they were ready at one point. What you had in 2017 and 2018 is that you had a lot of scammy projects that approached celebrities out there to be the face of their projects. And they had no idea at the time what cryptocurrency was, the difference between a decentralized project and a centralized project, or a security token, they didn't utility token. They didn't know anything about this. All they did was jumped in head first. And I know you've seen T.I. and you had Mayweather, they were pushing some crypto projects that were not decentralized projects. So they didn't really know the difference. But now I'm talking to some people and educating them. I'm telling them, look, this is a decentralized project. That means anybody could talk about it, just like Bitcoin. You can get up there and say, I'm going to be totally down with Bitcoin. You could say, I'm going to be totally down with Guap Coin, and it's totally legal. You know, now when you get involved with centralized projects that are sketchy, you know, like they did, then that's what got them in trouble. They didn't get in trouble because they got involved in crypto. They got in trouble because they got involved with sketchy individuals' projects.
Yo, what's the deal with XRP? Last year, everybody kept saying invest in XRP, XRP, invest. I mean, everybody was saying that. There's a brother named Chicago Bitcoin hustler. He told me, nah, don't mess with it.
Yeah.
But other than him, so now
I told people don't mess with it neither.
So why did you say that?
Because I saw the train wreck coming. You got to understand, a lot of these projects are willing to sacrifice people because they have a pivot that they can pivot to. And what I see is what's going to wind up happening to XRP is it's going to be traded on securities exchanges where regular people are not going to be allowed to trade on. So what's going to wind up happening, likely as maybe part of a settlement, is that they'll refund the people who invested at the rate that they invested their coin, you know, or you're going to have to get rid of it because it's totally illegal to be holding on to unregistered securities or security tokens, and you're not a accredited investor. So this is too much politics with that. And now, right now, I'm currently seeing people still buying, talking about buy the dip. You know, this is not a dip. You don't understand. This is not a dip.
It's not a dip, you saying. I thought that for a second. Shit, I could get that for real cheap right now. But you saying this ain't a dip.
I'm warning you, this is what people are getting rid of it because, hey, they're like, hey, I don't want to get caught up in that. I don't want to, you know, get in trouble for holding this and this and the third. They're literally dropping it left and right. But we're talking about getting it. I think it's feeding into a lot of our greed because we don't know a lot about not we, I do, but the average person knows very little about XRP, does not understand that this is a project in which the majority of the token is being held by the project owners, which is bad. You know what I mean? That's totally bad. You know? So
why are they holding it? Why are the project owners holding it?
Well, I mean, that when the project owners have control over it, then that's not a decentralized entity. That's not a currency. You can't have a currency where, like for instance, I can't create a currency and then keep the lion's share of the currency. What fairness would that be to the community? You know what I mean? And I actually now have less Guap coins than the top percenters of Guap Coin. You know what I mean? So, and I'm very proud of that because that's what we need.
Could a person, I'm sorry to cut you off, say somebody hear this broadcast and then like, I want to spend $1 million in Guap Coin. Is that possible?
Yeah, it is.
So
they would have to do it on the exchange, but you know, you can spend $1 million on the exchange. But granted, I'll tell you this, they've made it very difficult for people to get to now, for people to accumulate large amounts of crypto. You have to go through some major channels to do so, you know, namely maybe OTC traders, that's over the counter traders. You got to know somebody who knows somebody.
Damn, it's like that.
Oh yeah. That's exactly why I'm telling people that Bitcoin is not the thing. If it's that difficult to get it and they're still blocking you out of it, you know, it's not it. That's not it. That's just another extension of the capitalist arm at this point. It wasn't meant to be that way, but it's definitely being hijacked by institutions.
Right. Do you think is the U.S. is the country going to come out with their own digital currency soon?
Absolutely. I've already consulted on that, so absolutely they are. It's in the works. It'll likely come with, along with the universal income that they're planning on instituting. Whatever these things that they're going to institute that are going to be set in motion to help the economy are likely going to come in the form of a virtual dollar.
What? Go ahead. What you was going to say?
They've been trying to kill, you know, paper dollars for a long time. So this is it.
Is Jupiter? We talked earlier about the grand conjunction. Conjunction. Does Jupiter play a heavy role in what's going on right now financially?
It plays a heavy role, especially with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is going through its Jupiter return.
Mm.
And on Bitcoin's birthday, it will be its first Jupiter year, which in human terms, this is the year in which a child, or usually typical a male child, goes into like Hebrews bar mitzvah. They get a bar mitzvah because they begin walking the path to manhood. That's what Bitcoin is going through right now. Bitcoin is walking the path of legitimacy. It's being accepted by legitimate institutions.
Do you want institutions to get involved in big and I'm sorry, in Guap Coin, like big corporations? No.
It
I
can't,
mean,
it can't, they can get involved on some level, but we have to be able to maintain a level of autonomy. And that's what blockchain allows for us to do. We can, not only does the blockchain allow for us to have a currency, but it also allows for us to have governance, meaning we can vote. So if we want, if we're approached by a corporation that wants to get involved in some way, we simply hold a vote. And
who's
we
who's
vote on
we? Like, who?
the
Everybody who? Yeah.
community, everybody who is holding a Guap Coin wallet.
Mm. See, this is interesting. This is interesting stuff. We gotta continue to have this talk throughout the year, and just educate the people on this whole crypto, the whole philosophy behind it. So okay, damn. I see. I didn't know that. So if somebody, okay, so if a millionaire wanted to approach you and said, "I want to get $1 million," y'all will go. Y'all will have to vote on it. Wow. Okay, so they
Well,
just can't.
no. If a millionaire wants to get $1 million worth of guap, they can get that on an exchange. We don't have to vote on it. But let's say that somebody wants to add some type of value to the project. That's something that the community would vote on. If they
Right.
want to if they want to get involved in this, if they want to get involved with this, if they want to merge with our project, or if they want to whatever, this is something that the community can vote on.
Mm-hmm. Mm. What spiritually speaking, being that you're a medium, and you just obviously you're into the sciences, um, would you say Guap Coin was divinely inspired? Like, yeah, talk to me about the whole, the inspiration and it being connected to the spirit realm. Talk to me about that.
Well, absolutely. I mean, most people know that that know me personally, know that I'm a priestess in African traditional spirituality.
Okay.
And I had no idea that I was going to do Guap Coin. Like, I've been working on other tech projects and stuff like that. I had no idea that this is what I was going to build. I was told something was coming, but I didn't know it was going to be this.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came, there's been so much spiritual involvement in it. I would go certain places and I would speak. And after the end of speaking, elders would come to me and just be like, "Don't give up, don't stop." That was the word that the phrase that I've heard everywhere is "don't give up." It's funny because I did a Zoom the other day with about 100 people, and they
Mm-hmm.
all posted in the chat, "Don't give up."
Wow.
But that's what I've heard over and over and over again, because it's been very hard, because this is the type of thing you have to build on a grassroots level. You can't build it with a lot of money. I couldn't just have a lot of money handed to me and say, "Do this." I had to do it by sacrificing even the money that I had to do it, by by living by as meager means as I possibly could for as long as I could to get this done. But I'll tell you this, every step along in the way I've been supported. Everything has been taken care of for me all along the way. If I had to go somewhere to speak, if I had to do this, it's always taken care of. So it's definitely a divine energy that pushes it along.
That's dope. That's good to hear, sis. That's definitely good to hear. I'm here to help. Like I said, I would love to continue to have this conversation about Guap Coin, throughout the year, and just educating our people on this new world that's emerging and this new form of currency that our people and our culture needs to learn about. So I want to thank you, my sister, for coming on the show. I encourage everybody to reach out to the sister. I got a life report from the sister about a year and a half ago, and it was absolutely amazing. I wish I could share just the cover of it for y'all, but like I said, my computer's acting funny today. It's all good. Sister, be back on here soon. But once again, leave your contact info and any last words you want to leave with the people.
The last words that I want to leave, that this is from the outside, this is going to be a very challenging year, right? But think of it as your favorite video game. Think of it as Call of Duty or whatever the case may be, a game full of challenges that is exciting and that you work through to get to the end so that you can win. That's what this year is about. This year is definitely going to have winners, and unfortunately it's going to have losers, but you get to decide where you fit in that equation. So if there's ever a time where you're supported in doing what you're destined to do, it's going to be this year. So you got to give it your all, no matter what's happening on the outside. Don't allow yourself to be distracted. Don't allow yourself to be distracted by negativity, by conspiracy theories, or by anything else, because you're powerful. You're all powerful in this game. They can't make you do anything that is not in alignment with your highest good. So focus on getting whatever it is you need to get done, because this is a quantum leap year. You can definitely make a quantum leap. And I also wanted to add too, because this is a Five of Hearts year, this is a land ownership and real estate year. And I'm currently purchasing 185 acres in Georgia, and I'm not the only one that's doing it. So get yourself some land, because the landowners are the ones who make the law.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that, family. Leave your contact information once again for the people so they can reach out to you.
Sure will. Am I putting it in the chat or?
No, you could just just tell the people. Yeah.
Oh, in the comment. Yeah. So just follow Guap Coin on all platforms. You can follow Crypto Diva. That's with 2 E's. VA. That's why I just talk mostly about the crypto stuff. And then there's Aquarius Maximus, which not only is the crypto stuff, but the esoteric information behind the crypto stuff. And I'm Aquarius Maximus on all platforms.
Indeed. With that being said, I want to thank you once again. First guest of the year, 2021, January 1st. Man, amazing show, family. I want to thank everybody who tuned in for the show tonight. And I hope everybody has a prosperous year. This is Brother Rich with Aquarius Maximus. And we out here, family. We're going to see you next time. Peace.
Peace.